Good evening. How are you guys doing? I'm laying in bed right now with the dogs. Boo and Tucker are right over there. I just went and picked them up about an hour ago from the vet. They had all of their teeth extracted today. When I went to go pick them up, they didn't know how many teeth they were going to have to take out. And the vet, like, she had all these x-rays and she was showing it to me and she was like, they all had to go. And I honestly thought the little guys would be in a lot of pain, but they're not. They're just kind of laying there. Oh, Tucker's laying on his comfort blanket right there. Aren't you, buddy? He's got all of his little friends around him. And Boo Radley. Boo Boo. They're like, we can hear the neighbor dog, and he's driving us crazy, Dad. I know. But that's what dogs do. They bark, right? And I just got my iPad out because I'm going to hang out in bed tonight and watch some Netflix while they're sleeping and relaxing, and that's going to be our evening. My husband went to hot yoga after he got off work with his mom, and he's going to be home here in just a little bit, and then I think when he gets home I'm going to run out and get us something for dinner. I'm not really sure what I'm hungry for, though. It seems to me on this channel, and maybe I'm wrong, I love this channel, you guys. I'm having so much fun. I just like, now that I'm getting more comfortable with it, it's like I can just turn on the camera whenever I want and just kind of talk to you guys. You know, it feels like a kind of like a mini vlog, so to speak. My vlog channel, if you watch it, I vlog for like an hour to an hour and a half every night, you know, but over here it's just like I kind of just like randomly talk about stuff. It seems to me that you guys like the vlogs more when I just talk for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes over here about just random stuff. Do you hear how loud he is? He's like a year old. Basset Hound. What's he? A Basset Hound mixed with something else. He's the cutest dog in the entire world. They're a little bit afraid of him because he's real big and he's just a puppy. But did you ever see 101 Dalmatians? Okay, this is so funny. So that's like one of the only Disney movies I'd ever seen as a kid. I didn't watch a lot of Disney movies. And I loved 101 Dalmatians. I've seen it a lot. And it's called like the Midnight Bark or something, you know, when they're like communicating from town to town to town. And it's like, in the movie, it's like 5 minutes of just dogs barking. It's so funny because whenever I play it, well, especially when Pee-Pee was alive, because he would like cock his head and stuff. But Boo and Tucker and Pee-Pee would just sit there and they would watch that, like the midnight bark part, and they would just cock their heads like, they were like, what's he saying? What are they saying over there? It was so cute. Have you ever done that before when you like there's a TV show or a movie and the dogs are barking and then your dogs like go crazy hearing it? But anyway, I was actually sitting around today because I was dusting off some stuff in the bathroom, and I found this snow globe of mine. Well, I mean, I have it in there, but I just like never even noticed it anymore. And I love this snow globe. In fact, I don't even really know who gave it to me. But it is a little house in the middle of the woods. I don't know if you can see it right now. In a like when it's like snowing outside, and you can see like in the tree, the house has a red door on it, and in the tree there's a cardinal, which I love. And the cardinal, do you see right up there? There's a cardinal. The cardinal, is there two or is there just one? No, there's just one. So the cardinal was the bird that my mom said if she would come back to ever visit me after she was gone, she would come in the form of a cardinal, which my dad later thought was hilarious because he was like, so why did you guys pick a cardinal? And I said, because it's me and Mom's favorite bird. And he said, it's also the Indiana state bird. There are cardinals everywhere. He said, you'll be seeing your mom a lot. I was like, Dad. But anyway, so people always send me stuff to do with cardinals. Actually, I wonder if somebody sent me this. It has a song. I'll play the song at the end. But it was funny because I was thinking about it because there's probably a lot of people that don't know this, but I wrote a book, and my book is called The Before, Now, and After Then. There's my picture on the back of it. And if you have any interest in this, it's out of print right now. I think it's something like $900 on eBay, so don't buy that. When my next book comes out, it will be republished with a new publishing company, and so that will be here in the next year or two. But what was I going to say about this? Oh, but I read the whole thing on my BookTube channel. So if you have any interest in hearing this book or the story, you can go over to my BookTube channel where the whole thing is written. But in here, there's a part that I wrote about snow globes. And it's so funny because when I was a little kid, I was like obsessed with snow globes. And my cousin, but anyway, I was always obsessed with snow globes. And my aunt, Kathy, my cousin Caroline's mom, she would buy me snow globes for holidays and stuff. And I don't even know where half of them are. But I wrote this whole part in here about snow globes. I wish I could find it. And when my cousin Caroline read the book, she was like, because it takes place at our grandma's house, she was like, I don't remember Grandma having snow globes. And I said, Caroline, I said, Grandma didn't have snow globes. And she was like, well, where did that come from? And I said, that was made up in my head. It's called fiction. And she was like, how do you come up with these ideas? And I said, Caroline, it's called fiction. She's so funny. Let me see if I can find this part, because I love this part. I love the idea of snow globes. When I was a kid, I really kind of like, did you ever have like what are those called? Oh, those things, sea monkeys. Oh my God, I was like obsessed with sea monkeys when I was a kid. And I always thought like the sea monkeys really truly would like have a town like right there in my kitchen. And I remember my mom used to get, I didn't realize till later, I hope I'm not ruining this for any of you out there, but I found out later they were just like little shrimp. But even my little shrimp never even like made it. But I really did think they would be like those weird looking sea monkeys that would end up having, you know, like little families, and they would build houses and all that kind of stuff. I wanted them to have towns so bad. And I just lived in such a fantasy world. When I was a kid, like reading books and movies and stuff, that I really truly did believe that sea monkeys existed and that they could have that. Like I also believed, and I actually, this is so funny because like I wrote this whole like thing about it a long time ago. I was like weirdly obsessed with sea monkeys too. Not sea monkeys, I already said that. Seahorses. And I used to want to have a seahorse that would wear a little red felt top hat. Isn't that so funny? Where's the part about the snow globes? This is so funny because this is based on a true story though, right here. I loved elementary school. There was something about it that seemed so safe and small, and even though it became both my battleground and my boot camp, there were many good days too. There was one day from first grade that stands out clearly in my mind. It was late October, and the weather had just turned cold outside. Leaves littered our walk to school, and the smell of Halloween filled the air. Before lunch, we all sat on the floor in the library and watched the Disney version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Early on, the teachers and our parents thought it would be best if Sam and I, he had a twin brother, his name's Danny in the book, he had a twin brother named Sammy. He had a twin brother named Sam that is killed by a drunk driver at the very beginning. Early on, the teachers and our parents thought it would be best if Sam and I were in different classes to help us find our own identity. Even though we were all watching the movie together, I could see him sitting up front with his friends while I sat in the back, braiding Jeannie Shepherd's hair, which when caught by my teacher prompted her to humiliate me by saying, Danny Goldstein, this is not beauty shop. All the kids laughed and looked down in shame. After the movie, and I looked down in shame. After the movie, we all walked in single file into the makeshift gym turned cafeteria. Instead of the normal fare in the lunch line, we found bowls of tomato soup, peanut butter sandwiches, and a small container of milk waiting for each of us at our tables. This was the same lunch my mom made for us on snow days and rainy days, so there was a homey kind of comfort melted into its warmth. As I sat there with my friends, boys whose birthday parties and sleepovers I had been part of for the past few years, I noticed that one by one they whispered something to each other and laughed before looking at me. Finally, when it got to James Schilling, he shouted, "Don't drink the milk, it'll make you sick." I didn't get it, but I put my milk down immediately anyway. James looked over at me. "You can drink it, Danny. You've already been infected." The whole table erupted in laughter. James held up the milk carton and turned it around, pointing to the word homogeneous. This milk will make you a homo, he said, laughing. But since you're already gay, it won't matter. Looking back, I'm not sure what hurt more, the fact that it was the very first time they made fun of me for being gay, or that those boys knew something about me I didn't already know about myself. Regardless, even though I was so young, I felt betrayed. That was the day I knew it was not okay to be myself, forcing me to hide in Sam's shadow and become his clone. I would never allow myself to develop my own interest favorites, or even opinions. I felt like a page in a coloring book before any color had touched inside the lines. Just an outline of a picture, giving some definition, but not really filled with any kind of personality. That actually really did happen. I don't know where the snow globe part is, though. I'm like sitting like so uncomfortably. This is like not comfortable. How are my babies doing? Oh, you guys, you have to see Tucker. He is so cute. So after Pee-Pee died, somebody that watches my vlog, her name is Jennifer, she sent Boo and Tucker each these crocheted comfort blankets, one for Tucker and one for Boo. And ever since then, like, Boo doesn't sleep on his, but Tucker sleeps on both of them. Can I just show you right now how cute this is? Look at Tucker. He is like sleeping on his with his toys all around him. Oh, little buddy, how are you? And then Boo Radley is sleeping too. They are absolutely exhausted from their long day. I wish I could find this place about this part about the snow globes, because I love that part. I don't know where it is. Here it is, I just found it. Oh my gosh. When Sam and I were kids, we stayed with our grandma, Jean, the last weekend of every month so our parents could go on a date weekend out of town. Grandma Jean's apartment smelled like stale cigarette smoke, coffee, and Charlie perfume. My grandma's apartment did really smell like that. Our meals consisted of turkey sandwiches with Miracle Whip, homemade apple pie, Rice Krispie treats, and Cokes in those little glass bottles. Do you remember those little glass bottles? She let us stay up late, all three of us snuggled together in her big king bed with old and smooth percale sheets while we watched her favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies. What I liked the most was that she had the whole cabinet. She had this whole cabinet filled. I can hardly see it, it's so dark in here. She had this whole cabinet filled with the coolest snow globes I'd ever seen. Grandma Jean must have had over 100, most of which she had collected while vacationing around the world on her senior trips. On those weekends, she would let both Sam and I pick out a snow globe to play with for the whole weekend. She had often told us to be very careful because breaking a snow globe was considered to be bad luck to the person who had let it fall from their hands. Ah! I'm so uncomfortable. We would point to our globe of choice and Grandma would pull it down from the cabinet. Sam would always pick a different globe, whereas I always picked the same one. It was smaller than the rest and showed a little family standing in front of their house with a dog and a cat. Instead of glitter or snow, small white clouds. I gotta get into a more comfortable position. Do you ever do that? It's like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I used to have one of those body pillows. Do you guys like those body pillows? I do. I think they're so comfortable. Okay. That's a little bit better. Not much. We would point to our globe of choice and Grandma would pull it down from the cabinet. Sam would always pick a different globe, whereas I always picked the same one. It was smaller than the rest and showed a little family standing in front of their house with a dog and a cat. Instead of glitter or snow, small white clouds floated around in the globed water. During those weekends, I was very, very careful with my little family, carrying them around with me everywhere I went. One Saturday afternoon, while Grandma was busy watching a Heroes marathon on TV, Sam and I played with our snow globes in the bathroom. We carefully washed them under the sink to make them shine, taking extra care to be gentle. While I was delicately drying mine, Grandma suddenly opened the door to check on us, slightly knocking into me. We both watched in horror as a fragile object fell to our feet, shattering into hundreds of little pieces. I began crying, watching my family struggling for life outside of their artificial world, while Grandma Jean told us to stand still so we didn't cut our feet. Sam held my hand, telling me over and over again that it would be okay. After cleaning up the glass, we followed Grandma into the kitchen. She rummaged through the cabinets until she found what she was looking for, an old jelly jar. We'll fix it up. Don't worry about it, kiddo, she told me, smiling down at me while I carefully held the family in my hands like a flopping goldfish. Unscrewing the lid from the jar, she handed it to me for safekeeping. Now we'll just find the family a new home, she said, placing the people from the broken globe into the jar. Grandma scooped up the clouds from the kitchen counter and threw them in on top. With Sam and I close at her heels, we watched as she filled the jar up with water. Grandma let me screw on the lid to their new home. See, good as new, buddy. Only it wasn't good as new. It was crap and we all knew it. Everything floated to the top and my family was stuck together with the clouds and pets in one big clump. I don't really remember what happened after that, but I do know that we never played with any more snow globes. Grandma Jean said we could, but we never wanted to after that weekend. Something had changed. The magic was gone. A few years later, after Grandma Jean died, we helped our mom clean out her apartment. We found the makeshift globe on the top shelf in a prized spot between China and San Francisco. I hated that globe. I took it down from the cabinet and threw it in the trash. Sometimes I wish I had kept it as a reminder of her warning. Looking back, I should have known that just like that poor little family stuck inside their idyllic world, that mine too would come crashing to an end one day. Anyway, that was sad. That was sad. Let's move on to something a little bit more cheerful. Like, what am I going to watch on the Netflix tonight? This whole video is probably out of focus, but you guys are like, we don't care, Peter. I remember I had like this really special, it's so funny because I'm saying this about Disney again and I don't really like love Disney so much, but I had this really special Disney one that my aunt brought me, and it played like It's a Small World, and it was like this big globe. I think it was like the year 2000 maybe. She gave them to me like for a long time, even like when I was an adult. But I love this one. It has the little cardinal up there looking down on the house with the red door. Do you ever, like, like my cousin, she used to have a red door and then she painted it blue. I love when people do that, when they paint their color, the door of their house like a bright color. I love that. Anyway. Santa Claus is coming to town.